Welcome back to Nothing But Nets. We got a good one for you today. We're going to get into how the Nets could possibly have the quickest rebuild in NBA history. This could be a one-year rebuild back to competitiveness. Before we get into that, guys, please smash the like button. Guys, please like and subscribe. Follow me on all forms of social media at 3D Boxing. The Nets could get themselves back into not just the playoffs, but into contention by the 25-26 season. And it's not as far-fetched as you think. Potentially, the Nets are going to have $100 million in cap space. They're going to have 70 if they can get rid of Cam Thomas and Dorian Finney-Smith, which I think is realistic, and they can get 2 expiring deals. That's going to up their cap space to $110 million in the offseason. Jimmy Butler has expressed interest in the Nets. Jimmy Butler's going to have 2 years left. I'm sorry. Jimmy Butler's probably got 2 years left in him. You could give Jimmy a 2-year deal. You could also then give Brandon Ingram a max deal. You could also re-sign Cam Thomas. You can do all 3 of those things with the money that you're going to have in cap space. Additionally, after you tank the 24-25 season, you're going to have a top pick. If you can get Ace Bailey is a game changer. Ace Bailey is an absolute game-changing stud. He gives me Tracy McGrady vibes. He's been comped to Jason Tatum. He's been comped to Paul George. He's an immediate impact player. His impact is going to be felt immediately. He's that type of player. Additionally, what you could do, and something I've advocated for, but we won't get to that. I was going to talk about the Ben Simmons trade, which I've advocated for, trading Ben Simmons to the Bulls, trading for Lonzo Ball, trading Simmons for Lonzo Ball, throwing in a second-round pick if needed to sweeten the deal, 2 second round, whatever needs to be done to sweeten that deal, get Ball here, and then extend them. Let's put that to the curb just for a minute, although I do like that idea, and I think that's worth exploring. Put that away. A team where you have Jimmy Butler, Brandon Ingram, and then you still have Cam Thomas, but you've also drafted Ace Bailey. So you'd have Butler, Bailey, and Ingram as your 2, 3, 4. Nick Claxton at the 5. And then you put Cam Thomas to the bench where Cam Thomas can really thrive in that Lou Williams role. So you'd have you'd have Cam Thomas on the bench where he can play 25 minutes to score 20 points. You could have Butler, Ingram, and Ace Bailey as your 2, 3, 4. Claxton as your 5. Guys, that's not just a playoff team. That's a very good team. That's a very competitive team. And you can have that. That's realistic. Jimmy Butler wants to play for the Nets. I don't think Miami's bringing him back because of his age. Additionally, Jimmy Butler brings a culture. Jimmy Butler changes things. When they say Heat culture, what's that mean? What does that mean? It means Jimmy Butler culture. Jimmy Butler's everybody's favorite teammate. Jimmy Butler's a winner. Jimmy Butler's going to bring that culture to Brooklyn, and he's going to have it around Ace Bailey, your budding superstar. Now, look, this is all contingent upon signing Ace Bailey. I like Harper and I like Cooper Flagg too. Those are good players. If you get them, you still may have to recalculate things a little bit. If we can, and I think you need the number 2 spot in the draft because Cooper Flagg, who I like, is no Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey is the best player in the draft. If you can get Ace Bailey, it changes things. It changes your calculus. It speeds up your rebuild because he's that kind of impact player. And then to put Jimmy Butler on him, to have him grow with Jimmy Butler, have Jimmy Butler teach him, have Jimmy Butler implement that Jimmy Butler Miami Heat culture into Ace Bailey. is a can't miss. It's an absolute home run. What's best about this is nothing I've said is unrealistic. The Nets are going to stink this year. Nothing we can do or say that's going to change that. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing because we can land Ace Bailey. Once you've landed Ace Bailey, now everything else falls into place. You're going to have 3 other picks in the first round. Can you package those picks together? I don't know where they're going to be. And then move up and then draft your point guard. These are things that you can do. You're going to have 3 picks. If there's anything, 3 other picks in the first round after you draft Ace Bailey. Additionally, when we trade Dorian Finney-Smith and we trade Cam Johnson, which is going to get done, and we can do another show on Cam Johnson. When that is done, we could potentially land more picks, right? We could have another first for Dorian Finney-Smith, another first for Cam Johnson. A trade that I liked a lot that I heard was Jet Howard and a first, and you'd have to make the contract work this, but it would basically be Jet and a first for Cam Johnson. I think that works for both teams. And now you have these picks to build with. You're going to be able to trade Doe. Doe is an excellent player. You're going to be able to trade Doe. Doe works on any team. Doe is the final 4 minutes of a playoff game. Dorian Finney-Smith is on the court. So teams are going to want Dorian Finney-Smith. He defends multiple positions. He can shoot the 3. He's tough. He can finish at 3. Dorian Finney-Smith adds a lot of value to a lot of teams. So it's not going to be difficult to trade Dorian Finney-Smith. I wanted him traded before, and I like Dorian Finney-Smith, and he hasn't come, and he hasn't demanded trading, and he hasn't been an ingrate. He's been a good teammate. He's a good player. I like Dorian Finney-Smith, and I want for Dorian Finney-Smith to be traded. That way we can play Jalen Wilson. We can play these other guys those minutes. I want Cam Johnson traded too. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to trade Cam Johnson, especially when it keeps being said over and over and over again that his value just isn't there. You can trade him. You just might not like what you get, but ultimately you got to get that salary off the books. Additionally, Ben Simmons is coming off the books. You're going to be in good shape. The only thing that you need to add after what I said is a legitimate point guard. Maybe you could draft one. Maybe you can get somebody, a veteran. I don't know. But a team that has Jimmy Butler, Ace Bailey, and Brandon Ingram, plus Clowney and Cam Thomas off the bench and Claxton at the 5, is a really, really, really good half-court team. And in the playoffs, the game slows down and you need half-court players, right? The game, you see this with guys like Tyrese Halliburton. And they're scoring. If Tyrese Halliburton isn't hitting his threes, he's not scoring in the playoffs. Ben Simmons isn't scoring in the playoffs, right? Because they struggle in half-court sets offensively to score. You have Cam Thomas, Brandon Ingram, Ace Bailey, Jimmy Butler. You're not struggling to score in the half court. When the going gets tough, you have those guys that can get those buckets. And everything I said here is realistic. I've heard a lot of other arguments for let's tank 2 years in a row. And I'm not against this argument. But what you need to tank 2 years in a row is hoping that Clowney and Cam Thomas don't develop over the next 2 years, that they stay at the level that they are so we aren't winning more games. That's not a good thing. If Cam Thomas and Clowney, if we draft Ace Bailey this year, and Cam Thomas and Clowney are still on the team, and we're still drafting in the top 3 next year, in 2026, I mean, that means Cam Thomas and Noah Clowney didn't get any better. That's not good. That's not a good sign. Right? You want those guys to be getting better. So, yeah, unless you do something crazy like you finish just out of the playoffs and you win the lottery, we're not going to be drafting in the top 3 in 2026. So get that out of your mind. We're not going to be there. There's a better chance that we can compete if we do draft in the top 3 in 2026. If we're a bottom dwelling team again in 25, 26, something went drastically wrong. That's not a good thing. Additionally, then we're saying, okay, we're going to have 2 stars that draft 2 guys in the top 5. And have Cam and Clowney and Claxton. Okay, fine. Then there's this hope and this dream that we can sign guys like Embiid, that we can sign guys like Luka. Look, I was on the record saying back in 2019, oh, there's no chance Kevin Durant's going to sign here. Kyrie and KD are going to sign with the Knicks. They're not coming here. Like, let's set our sights on something more realistic like Kemba Walker. I was wrong. So I'm not saying they can't sign those guys. Maybe they can. I don't know. But neither do you. So now what you're hoping for, in my plan, all you have to do is tank this year, finish with the worst record in the league, and you're guaranteed a top 3 pick, which is what everyone is projecting us to be. Everyone's projecting us to be the worst team in the league. The sports book says gave us a 19.5 over under on our win total. It's the lowest projection since 04-05 season. So we should be bad. And then you finish in the top. You get a top 3 pick. You get Ace Bailey, and you're off to the races. There's nothing. The other 2 guys, Jimmy Butler and Brandon Ingram, you can get. Other teams don't have cap space. They don't have it. We have it. Butler says he wants to play for the Nets. You can sign Ingram. All of this makes sense. You get Butler, you get Ingram, you draft Ace Bailey. This is all extremely realistic. What is less realistic, what is hoping that not only do you get a top 3 pick this year, but Cam Thomas and Noah Clowney don't get any better, and that you're in the same position next year. And Ace Bailey doesn't really pan out either. Ace Bailey doesn't make some big leap where he's a productive NBA player helping you. So Bailey's not working out, Cam Thomas is not working out, and Clowney's not working out in the sense that they're not improving. They're not getting much better. Then you finish in the bottom 3 again in 25, 26. And then you get another top 3 or top 5 pick. And then on top of getting that second, then you sign Embiid or De'Aaron Fox or Luka or whoever else is in that class. So you want to hope those guys don't pan out. Hope no one else tanks. Hope the balls bounce your way. And then you hope those 2 draft picks, Ace Bailey and whoever you draft in 25, 26, pan out. That's a lot of hoping and wishing. Well, I don't think it's crazy to think that Ace Bailey's going to work out. Now you're going to hope. But in this scenario, look, when Zion Williamson worked out, New Orleans was not picking in the top 3 again. When Wemby worked out, San Antonio was not picking in the top 3 again. Those teams got a lot better. Right? Even San Antonio, who was still terrible, was drafting 4. They weren't in the top 3. They were 4, which is still a good pick. But you guys see what I'm saying. In order to stay this bad, you have to hope your own guys don't work out and don't pan out and don't get better. That's not a good position to be in. Ace Bailey is what we need. Once we get Ace Bailey, everything else falls into place. Ace Bailey is your bona fide superstar. He works hand in hand. He's with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's going to guide him and teach him, show him the ropes, show him the culture, show him what it takes to be a winner. You add Ingram, you have Cam Thomas, you have Nick Claxton. You're in excellent shape. Everything I said is realistic. You don't need to hope. You don't need to wish. You don't need balls to bounce your way. It's on the table. It can be done. It's not an extreme hypothetical. Like, hopefully we sign Joel Embiid. Which, again, look, it's the NBA. Guys bounce around. I don't know what the hell guys want to do. I don't know. I mean, maybe Luka and Embiid and De'Aaron Fox are all going to meet secretly and have a meeting and all say, let's sign with the Nets. I can't count on that. What I can do is control my own destiny. I can tank this year, draft Ace Bailey, sign Ingram, and sign Butler with the cap space I have that the other teams don't. I can do that this offseason. That's realistic. Once I do that, I have a winning team. In 1 year, I went from a laughingstock to a legitimate contender. And you guys, you cannot argue. If I have a team with Ace Bailey, Ingram, and Butler, Cam Thomas on the bench, Clowney on the bench, and Nick Claxton as my starting five, and all the other draft capital that I have, that I'm not a good NBA team. Am I going to win a championship? Am I going to beat Boston? Probably not. But I'm a good team. And I still have all those picks. That's how you can rebuild in one single season. It can be done. Brandon Ingram showed that he can carry a team. He took a team without Zion Williamson to the playoffs, and he averaged 27 points a game in the playoffs against the Phoenix, and that was in 2022. He can do it. Ingram can be that superstar. He can be that secondary star. Ace Bailey becomes your guy. But until Ace Bailey becomes that guy, you have Jimmy Butler there. Jimmy Butler is there to be the number one scorer until Ace Bailey, 2 years from now, can take that position over. This does not have to be a long, drawn-out thing. If Sean Marks plays this right, it could be one terrible year, and then we rebuild the next year. And the next year we're competitive. We can be competitive in 25-26. And I just laid out how. And I know that there are going to be certain people who disagree with this, some people who don't like that take, but it can be done. We have the cap space to do it. No other team does. No other team can do that. You can bring him to New York. Jimmy Butler can finish out his career in New York. Brandon Ingram can be a star in New York. Ace Bailey can jump over the river, go from Rutgers, go to Jersey, go to here, and now you have your team. The timing works. The pieces work. The money works. Everything works. I don't need to hope and wait on a dream 100 years down the road. But first, we need to take care of business. We need to take 24-25 and get Ace Bailey. And after that, the rest of this gets easy. Guys, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts, comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Guys, please smash the like button. Support a local Nuts podcast. It is September 9th, 2024, from Texas to the world. Thank you, and God bless.